This is the latest handheld gaming PC, and it's made by Samsung? Well, latest isn't actually true, it's from 2007. But I mean, would you know it? It's got a touchscreen. Ooh, a joystick. Wow. And configurable buttons. Best of all though, is the operating system. A full desktop touchscreen version of Windows XP. Oh, it's so cool! The plan is today to upgrade it and game on it, because look at it. It looks like a precursor to modern handhelds like the Steam Deck and the Nintendo Switch. This thing is stunning. I love it so much. Back in the mid-2000s, Samsung released these. A line of ultra-mobile PCs, UMPCs, that came under the Q1 branding, this being a Q1 Ultra, the successor to the original Q1. The thing is, they didn't sell well. No one really knew what they were for. They were sold to professionals as like a professional device and an alternative to a laptop. Oh, God, I love this thing so much. Yeah, I don't know what a professional was expected to use this for. The only thing I can possibly think of is that typing on this was a wonderful and joyous experience. I'm not used to typing on a split keyboard. Maybe someone who's used to it would find this better, but it isn't intuitive. Where's backspace? I literally cannot figure out how to do the exclamation mark. This lower end version of the Q1 Ultra has only got a 600 MHz processor. It's also got a phenomenal 0.99 gigabytes of DDR2 memory. Wow, what an amazing machine. And if I check the C drive, yep, that is 40 gig. The thing that I really love about this machine though is the touchscreen. It feels so nice to touch, not like the hard glass of modern touchscreens, but it will also work with an old style stylus. Now, the Q1 did actually ship with a stylus. It tucked into the base of the machine down here. Sadly, when this arrived, it did not have the stylus with it. I had a look and found my DSi XL stylus. And if I'm right... this is so cool! Oh, it's so accurate. Straight into accessories calculator. 28 plus 5 equals 33. And the calculator works. Look at that. You know, there's a bit of delay with where you're dragging the mouse, but that is fantastic. I'm starting to think this might actually be really good as an emulator. Now then, if you weren't a fan of the physical keyboard built into this device, the way that I'm not a fan of it because it's horrible and bad. It did come with alternative options. There was the Windows XP built-in keyboard, which I believe I can just touch down here, and there we are, and you could write to input stuff or have a keyboard showing. Yes, just like this. I wonder how well it actually works for writing something. Let's see. Nope, it thinks I've written melt. Sure, let's insert melt. Maybe I'm just doing it wrong. This is cost. How is it getting cost? I'm definitely not writing cost. Yes, there was the Windows XP keyboard. There was also dial keys. These were designed so that the keys were within thumb reach, and mostly designed for the base version of the Q1 because it didn't have the physical keyboard. Now, I wonder if this isn't any better experience. That is loud. It's definitely better than these physical keys. I do like the clickiness of the keys, listen. Oh, it's a nice button noise. The dial keys, on the other hand, they feel like they're in better positions on the screen for tapping, but it's still not as good as an actual keyboard. On that note of an actual keyboard, this is the case that the machine shipped with. And when you open it up, oh, it's a bit grubby. Wow, Joe, you sure did plan this video well and exactly what you were going to do, didn't you? Wow, you're making all of this look so natural and planned ahead of time and not at all awkward. Ugh. I've got a little kickstand on the back and then a keyboard, and my typing experience so much better. Oh, it's even got a nipple. Oh, and it works. And a left and right click as well. Now, with the case, I kind of get it for a portable machine that you could use on the go. Oh, the keyboard clicks out as well. I didn't even realise that. Now, what you saw me fiddling about with before was this side piece here, which is held on with tape because this machine has, clearly been damaged at some point. But what it exposes is the I/O of this thing is awesome. That's a VGA, a USB-A, and an Ethernet port on the side. Then you've got the charging adapter, and on the top, we've got a full-size headphone jack, a second USB-A port. That's insane I/O. I'll be honest, in my opinion, the kind of piece de resistance of this thing is the battery. Because it's a classic removable, laptop style battery. You've got a wonderful little button that if you press and hold, gives you indicator lights for how charged the battery is. What? Also force my way into the kickstand, which again, cool that it's got a kickstand. We've got a little battery latch here, and then we're off. Here's the battery. Bloody heavy though. Jesus. It's a 7,800 milliamp hour battery that's still holding charge really well, and I've just noticed now there's a SIM card slot here. That makes sense. I will get onto that in a minute. Let's just talk about the weight of this battery though. That was insane. The battery weighs 318 grams. The whole thing weighs 798 grams, so nearly 800 grams. Almost half of that was just the battery. Okay, maybe batteries have got smaller over time and a bit lighter weight as well. But, on the other hand, batteries are glued into everything now, whereas I could just take this off, and if I had a backup battery, I could just slot another one on. That's so cool. Okay, so I've got Nintendo Switch 2 out. By comparison, the Switch 2 is 556 grams. That is a lot lighter. And I'm sure I've looked up the Steam Deck before as being around 669 grams. Yeah, that thing's... it's heavy. I got this for £63. The going rate for these online is about £300. And part of the reason that I managed to get it for that amount of money is I got this from a garage, like a car repair garage. In 2007, cars didn't have infotainment systems. This machine came with the mounting bracket on the back. You could buy a mounting kit to set it up in your car, van, lorry, whatever. And then there was a GPS add-on for this as well, explaining the SIM card tray, so that you could use it as a sat-nav. So it was a full infotainment and sat-nav in the year 2007. And someone spent £799 on this in 2007. Which is a lot of money. I 100% think this was ahead of its time. What I'm going to do now is crack this thing open. We can do upgrades. So let's do it. Put that to one side. Next, get your screwdriver kit out. It's, one of the cheap ones. Look at that, it came with a 1-year limited international warranty. Damn. A piece of plastic snapped off. Ah! Oh god. We're in. That was a little bit stressful. Look at that, 1 gigabyte, and it's Samsung RAM as well. Of course it's Samsung RAM. The plan is to replace the RAM and to replace the hard drive. I'm going to replace the hard drive with an SSD, which might speed things up a bit, and we're upgrading the RAM to 2 gigabytes of DDR2. This thing's gonna zoom! Let's get the RAM out. Oh, look at that. So, I'm replacing it with some Hynix. Now it's 2RX8 and it's slightly faster speeds, so fingers crossed this works. There we go. Lift this out of the way. Come on, little lever, you were going then. There we go. Which should then let me just pull this straight out. Should. There we are, that's the ZIF connector out. Then the hard drive should just pop out of this tray. Should. So I managed to get hold of a 256GB mSATA drive made by Samsung. That'll be going in the hard drive's place. And then I managed to get a fairly cheap little connector. And that'll be my adapter. So what I should be able to do fairly easily is take the cable off this, plug it into this adapter, and then probably attach this adapter down with like some tape or something. Look at that! Look at that! It's like it was designed to be in there.
A few moments later.
Okay. We have to open it up and try again. Right, I am turning the cameras off for that now.
1 hour later.
Can't see that quite off screen, but it's on. I put the connector in upside down, didn't I? Yeah. What a... In a moment, we'll switch this thing on, and we'll play some games. Some games. But first, let's hear a quick message from today's sponsor. This is my first video. I don't have a sponsor. But if you're a company looking for someone to big up their product, hold it up in front of them and say, wow, look at this. Tell them where they can buy it, what it can do. There's a chance that I could be the guy for you because I can do all of those things. So, if you're a business that needs someone to talk about their thing for a small segment of a video, get in touch. Right, okay, so I installed a couple of games, some PC games, and also an emulator, just to see what kind of performance we can get.
First up, it's original Half-Life, a game released in 1998, so you'd imagine it would play pretty well, and for the most part it seems to. I only got footage of this opening sequence, but it played absolutely fine. Definitely a playable experience. Next up, it's Half-Life 2, which came out in 2004, a full 3 years before the Q1 Ultra was released, and yet the wimpy 600MHz processor was perhaps not up to the job. The loading times were long, and then we got this.
Yeah. This is just how I remember it.
Growing up, the game of choice of me, my brother, and my dad was Rome Total War, so I had to give it a go. Released in 2004, I wasn't sure how this was going to perform, and although it was a little bit slow in places, it was a perfectly playable experience, and I would happily play Rome Total War on a handheld machine like this.
This acts as a mouse, but if you press mouse, if you look at the top here, there's a little icon next to the mouse button that goes between mouse and joystick mode. And now it's behaving as my up and down and left and right keys.
If you've not already guessed it, the next game on the list is Space Invaders, the 1999 version for PC made by Activision. and it was probably my most played game on PC as a child, and it's so fun to this day, and realistically, it's so much better on a handheld, and I'm not going to lie, I'm going to be playing this a lot more again now that I can play it on a machine like this. It's so fun. Next up, I'm playing a game in the no cache GBA emulator because for some reason that still supports Windows XP. It's pretty amazing really that I'm able to emulate a Game Boy Advance game on Windows XP with the most recent update. I've had to blur the footage because Nintendo are kind of poo-poo heads. So anyway, this is Pokemon Emerald. What? I wouldn't emulate a Pokemon game. What are you talking about? It plays absolutely flawlessly. It's super cool to me that a little handheld PC from 2007 can emulate a Game Boy Advance game from 2005 with zero issues whatsoever. Just what a cool thing to be able to do. No Cache GBA strikes again with Nintendo DS emulation. This time, however, playing Pokemon Platinum, a game released in 2009, 2 years after the release of the Samsung Q1 Ultra. And I won't lie, it struggled occasionally, but for the most part was able to play the game absolutely fine and emulate the touchscreen perfectly. It's honestly just been really cool to see what this little PC can do, and it's just really fun. Quick disclaimer that I do own a copy of all the games that are featured in this video, and therefore it feels really dumb that I should have to blur my screen.
This has been such a fun experience, getting to play with a Windows XP PC that, until recently, I didn't know existed. I never knew that this kind of form factor, this handheld machine, was ever on the market. The most remarkable thing, and I know I said this early on in the video, but I'm going to say it again now, is the battery. When I was initially testing this yesterday, I had it running off battery for a solid 6 hours, and it still had 40% left. That's crazy. And I know, a lot of that time was spent idling, not doing an awful lot. But for a lithium-ion battery that's never been changed from 2007 is simply remarkable. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. I hope you've enjoyed yourselves. I certainly have. And I can't wait for the next one. See you then.